Hi everyone! Boy, did you tune in for a video today. So this video is going to do two things. First thing, I'm going to announce our picks for the Taboo Book Club for the month of September, which if you already watched our live show or saw the post that Tamika did already, you know what the theme is going to be for this month. But also this video is going to be a recommendation video for familial love, which is what I'm calling the videos this month, so that hopefully we can trick YouTube, because actually familial love, we're talking about incest. So incest is going to be our taboo. Told you we ain't gonna play this slow. You know, we did Best Friend's Dad last month, which is pretty safe in regards to taboos. Really the only taboo is usually age gap you're dealing with and probably pissing off your friends and family. When we're going into incest, we're talking about stuff that's actually illegal in what I believe I looked up, 48 states. And it's illegal for more than, you know, just weird society reasons. It's mostly illegal for health reasons, is what they say. But anyway, we don't care what the reasons are. It's taboo. It is intense. It gives us really weird feelings inside and very uncomfortable, as it should. I mean, as it actually should, because it's one thing to have a daddy kink fetish, and it's another thing to actually want to get kinky with your dad, right? Okay? Nope. I'm clean. I just did a little self inflection. I'm good. Don't have any of those feelings myself. Great. But we're going to explore them this month. So some of you who are already in the Discord for this already know what the picks are, or if you watch the live show. But first I'm going to announce those two picks, one picked by myself, one picked by Tamika. That's how the Taboo Book Club is going to work. Wow, I did a weird accent there. Then you can read these books and discuss them with us in the Discord, which there is a link for down below. It is my Discord, and I have a section that's dedicated to Taboo Book Club. Maybe someday our book club will get big enough. We'll start our own Discord, but for now it's just housed within mine. And then on September 27th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time, that's 5 p.m. Eastern and 2 p.m. Pacific if you're in the United States. If you're in the UK, you're going to have to look it up because I don't know. Looking at you, Lynn. Looking at you, girl. And I know we also have a viewer who's from Australia, so that's fun too. I love you guys. I try to make it as friendly of time as possible, but I can't be everywhere around the world at the same time, right? Okay, enough chattering. I'm holding back because I'll tell you. When we were going to do Taboo Club, the first taboo that came to mind for me was incest, because that's the one that I feel like is the hardest buy-in. And it's the one that we can talk about kinks all the way around the clock, but incest is the one that legitimately, I think it's messed up if you have those feelings. I'm not judging you as a human. I'm saying you need help if you actually have those feelings, and I'm not afraid to say that. That's still one stand in our liberal world, in our free love area, where I still think it's messed up. However, again, like with any kink there is, with any fetish or feeling or love you have, if you are both over 18 and there was nothing happening before that person was 18, I'm okay with it in real life too, even though it gives me the heebie-jeebies. But a couple of the books that we're going to be talking about, they do involve underage persons. If you are uncomfortable, number one, I realize this is a bigger stretch with the Taboo Club than you've tried. I know my friend Bex is already trying this book, and she's like, I'm very uncomfortable, but I'm going to push through. And that's okay. Because what's going to be fun about the Taboo Book Club, if you've already went to our first live show, or if you haven't, please watch it. It's on my channel. Is we're talking about why the things are taboo, if they feel taboo to us, why we think society thinks they're taboo. Like, we really dive into this, as well as gush about how fun and sexy they are and what the author did with it itself. So if there's a taboo we ever do that's too much for you, well, that's okay. But maybe still give it a try, right? Still give it a try, and if it's still not what you want, because if you're tuning into something that's called Taboo Book Club, you're at least intrigued, right? You know, you're intrigued just a little bit. You want to see what us crazies are reading, what's getting our rocks off, what's twiddling the bud for us, and you know what? I've read some interesting things. So one other note, I just have all the notes. This topic fascinates me. That's why I love doing this Taboo book club with Tamika, because I love having these conversations with everybody. It fascinates me. This is going to be different than stepbrother or stepdad or stepmom, any kind of step relation trope taboo, okay? We will definitely be dedicating their own months to a stepdad and to stepbrother, because they're completely different taboos. Even though stepfather, if they've been their stepfather their whole life, that can feel a lot the same as incest. But the difference is that stepdad, stepdaughter love, or stepdad, stepson love, whatever, is not the same as blood relative relationship, which is what we're talking about in here. There are some books that may be recommended, I won't tell you which ones, where it's a surprise that the people aren't related to each other, right? So maybe we go most of the whole book thinking they're related. Think City of Bones or something like that, right? Think of that. You may go most of the book thinking they're related, and so to both of the characters, they feel like they're in an incestuous relationship, and then surprise, they're not. There are a couple of those in here, but for the most part, we won't be talking about stepdad or stepbrother for incest. Even though some people might call that incest, it's not. Because you can legally and physically still have a fully healthy child with that person, even if in society's eyes you grew up as siblings or parent and child, okay? It's not the same thing as you share DNA and there's a possibility that your kids could be messed up, okay? All right? That's not a 100% thing. There are cousins who've had kids. There are royal cousins. Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, first cousins. They had 9 children, all healthy and fine. But it's when things are continually inbred that you start to see problems. Why am I still talking about this? I think it's fascinating, that's why. Okay, let's go. I've yacked enough. Let me get to the book club picks. If you don't know already, which you probably know from the cover of this video, might be a giveaway, but I picked The Wild by Kay Webster, all right? I read this book in August, and I loved it. I really loved it. And holy crap, it fed all my taboo craziness. So the other thing I'll say too, because I've already had some people messaging me, they're like, I can't find these books on Amazon. No, you can't find them on Amazon because they're banned. They're banned because 2 reasons. Because there are some incest books you can find on Amazon. But those ones usually involve the people are, it's a fine line, because Amazon doesn't have hard and fast rules about what books gets kicked off, because it's based on the people that complain about it, right? And this book, Kay Webster actually created her own site, Eden Books, where other authors can put taboo books for sale because of Amazon banning her and trying to decide what people are allowed to read and what they're not. So The Wild, this is about a girl, now I gotta remember her name, holy crap. This is about a girl named Devin and her father, Reed. And her father takes her sick mother, sick by like mentally sick, she's kind of checking out. They lost Devin's twin brother not too long ago, and the mother has been in a deep depression. Her relationship with Reed isn't doing very well, and so Reed takes the family in an RV to the wilderness, and they're gonna live off the grid. He is a successful business mogul, and so he can support this choice, but he takes his family out there. There's already some sexual tension happening with his just turning 17-year-old daughter. I think she's 16 at the beginning, is turning 17. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but I know she's underage, so there's that as well. Yes, this is a twisted mother effing book, okay? And then a tragedy happens very soon that the mother dies, and we're left together with absolutely no one keeping us apart anymore, and nobody else to turn to for comfort or physical touch or body heat. So there we are. I will link the link down below to her website. You can either get an e-copy of this or you can order the paperback if you want. I got a beautiful signed copy from one of my viewers who read it and then liked it, but then was like, I don't want to just donate this, because what if someone accidentally finds it and then, you know, surprise incest? And I was like, that's nice of you. Thank you. So this is my pick. This is probably the most infamous incest book you're gonna find on Booktube or hear people read it. I greatly enjoyed it. There are plenty other trigger warnings, but this is the Taboo Book Club. Look up your trigger warnings if you have them. If you have them, not sure why you joined a Taboo Book Club, just warning you. This is the trigger warning happy book club. They're all the triggers. We're gonna pull them all. And then Tamika's pick, wow, 10 minutes in and I'm just getting to Tamika's pick. I am a hot mess express. So Tamika's pick is Like Dragonflies, and this is by Kay Webster and Daniel James, both two authors who aren't afraid to write incest. This one I don't know anything about, and I'm not gonna look it up because I wanna be surprised about this pick, but I know that it is half brother and sisters. I think they didn't fully know each other their whole lives. I'm not 100% sure, but something brings them together and they have the same dad. I don't know if they start a relationship and then find out they share a dad. That is like a horrible, horrible thought to me. If you meet your parents like illegitimate children or, you know, something like that. But this is called Like Dragonflies. And again, I'll have the link down below to buy this because I don't think you can find it on Amazon either. So now I'm going to share with you 3 recommendations if you want to continue, because one thing we decided to do with the Taboo Book Club is that we're going to have the 2 book picks, but then to go along with what we're going to be talking about in the live show, we want to provide you with other books within the genre or trope so that you can check them out and maybe get a fuller look at it. Or you read these 2 books and you end up liking the trope, which might not happen with incest, I understand. But the thing with incest is there's so many different kinds, sorry. And some of them are more incestuous than others, right? So I have 3 recommendations of books that I read recently because as soon as we decided incest would be September, I was like, ooh, the only one I've read is The Wild. I want to read some more. So by the same viewer, I also got sent Hail by Kay Webster, and this is a brother and a sister, and when their parents die, they move in with their aunt, and he, I think, is like 1 or 2 years older than her, and he's going to college, and they have intense feelings for each other, and when their parents die, they feel like no one else understands their loss except each other, and they can't even stomach the thought of being with anyone else but each other. This wasn't as, this is so weird to say, this wasn't as fun for me as The Wild was, but this is, you know, a little more of like a, I mean, I don't want to say it's new adult because it's incest, but they're both teenagers, so it's not as intense as having that, as well as the age gap or parental figure. So if you want to come at incest from a different angle, you could try this. Kay Webster is very compelling. For her books being so short, I feel like she packs so much into them. So this one was about a 3.5-star read for me, but if you want to check this one out, go for it. Then I also read Tortured Whispers by Daniel James. So this one is a girl who starts out underage in this one as well, and her uncle, so her father's brother. So after her mother has committed suicide, and her dad doesn't really know what to do with her at this point. She is self-harming herself, so know that she cuts herself to feel something, to handle excess emotions. She harms herself, and her uncle moves in while his new home is being finished, so he's staying with them, and he is a child psychologist, and he starts to notice these signs in his niece that she's probably self-harming herself. He also is very attracted to her, and it's a mutual attraction. And when his brother tragically dies of a heart attack only a couple weeks after him living with her, she has no one else to take care of her, and now he's like, oh shit, I'm already having inappropriate feelings for her, and now she has no one else to watch over her but me until she turns 18. Also, she's self-harming herself, and I need her to see a therapist. So there was a lot going on in this book. This was deeply moving, and I know it goes along with, like, I can't remember the technical term, but because he's a psychologist and one of his colleagues is who ends up seeing his niece. His colleague specializes in that phenomenon of like when you meet a loved one that you didn't either know about or didn't spend any time with them growing up, and then you have like sexual attraction for them. I think it's called like familial sexual attraction or something like that. Like, I don't know. But this book has that as like a focus. So they're coming at it from the mental side of it. But this one, to me, has the most realistic like trigger warnings of like mental health and self-harm, and the thoughts that she has are really like painful to sit through. So if you have trigger warnings besides the trigger warning of incest, make sure to check those out before reading this one. Then if you read The Wild and end up loving it, which you might, it's pretty intense, there is a couple characters you'll meet near the end of this book, which I won't say who they are, but The Free is the sequel to The Wild, and it is also has elements of incest in it. And it is, I don't want to tell you what kind of incest it is because it's a spoiler. Like in this one, whereas like The Wild, literally the back of the book tells you what the incest is. The Free, you go into it thinking that it's one taboo, and then it involves incest as well. So I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I really liked The Free as well. So if you read The Wild and totally love it, you're probably going to want to read The Free as well. And then, okay, this one is a bit, I don't want to say it's lighter fare because it's still a really intense story. However, this one I really, really loved, and I recently ordered the copies of it because it's by one of my favorite authors. So this is Stanton Adore, which is the first in the Stanton series by T.L. Swan. And this is a cousin's romance. So this is between, they've been attracted to each other since they were 16. And for the last, I don't know how many years it is because it's been a while, but purposely for the last couple years, they've stayed away from each other, and their families have kind of kept them away from each other because they're aware that these two cousins are really into each other. And they end up kind of having a fling over the holidays, and now they're having to fight the relationship that they want to happen between the two of them. And being first cousins, they really are like, it's a little easier to justify the relationship than it might be for other incestuous relationships. And I love this. This series leads into a really long series by T.L. Swan, because this is also, it's not a billionaire romance, but it's sort of like wealthy family romance. And so there's 3 books in the trilogy, and then there is a sequel novella. It might be a full novel. And then there is like Jim Junkie fits into this, and Dr. Stanton fits into this. So then there's other books that have to do with their other like family members that all, because there's a bunch of brothers in this series. So if you end up loving this, you'll like the whole series. Love it. I'm so happy I have copies of that. All right, so then I have 2 recommendations that are actually a TBR for me, because unlike other tropes we're going to do, I have only read 4 books with direct incest and where they are blood related to the family. I've read a lot of stepbrother, stepdad. I've read a stepmom one even, but I have only read the 4 that were actual blood relatives. So I have 2 that I plan to read in the month of September, and so I'm going to tell you about them. So if you want to read them too, they'll be new for me. So the first one I have is Sinfully Mine by Nikki James. And so I'll read the synopsis. So this one says, 4 years ago, mistakes were made. Lines were crossed, rules were broken. It was wrong. It never should have happened. But the past refuses to stay buried. Wrongs start feeling right and lines begin to blur. Sometimes the heart wants what it wants and nothing will stand in its way. Consequences be damned, rules be damned. Sometimes secrets are sinfully delicious. So that's the thing for this, and I think this one involves brothers. Yeah, so this one is 2 brothers, and the thing that I found really interesting about this one is that 2 brothers, well, this is incest in social nature, the reasons for incest laws, again, have to do with mostly genetics. So if it's two men together who can't make a child, is it incest anymore? So I'm excited to read that one and see what that book has to say about it, because that's fascinating to me. And then I have another gay incest one that I want to read as well, and this is what this one says. This one's called The Guy in the Window by Cara D. And I believe I've read another book by Cara D, but I don't remember what it was right now. I don't have it just listed, but I recognize the name. So this one says, I was in the middle of my divorce when Adam messaged me. I believe his exact words were, "Hi, I think you're my dad's brother. Would you like to get to know me?" My brother and I had never been close, so I'd only met his adopted son a few times when he was very young. Instinct told me to ignore the message, and I did, for a few days. It took an exhausting fight with my soon-to-be ex and half a bottle of whiskey for me to change my mind. Adam first became my sort of nephew. Next, he became the guy who helped me find an apartment in the building next to his. He was a sweet, cheerful young man doing his best to raise his 4-year-old daughter, which led to him becoming the guy who wanted to help me patch up my relationship with my own daughter. Then one night, as I got ready for bed, I looked across the alleyway to the next building, where I saw him getting ready for bed too. I couldn't look away to save my life. It was the night he also became the guy in the window. So this is another gay one, and this one is an adopted nephew. So again, not direct blood nephew, but still want to read it. Sounds fun. So there you go. Those are our book club picks and, recommendations for incest. So September is going to be so much fun. Tamika and I have so many plans for the upcoming months. We were just brainstorming, that's the word, brainstorming the other day about what we're going to do for the rest of the year, and I'm so excited. Holy crap. So thank you so much for watching. If you want to join the Taboo Book Club, check out the Discord down below, or else just read the books and show up at the live show where we'll chat and gush, and it'll be awesome. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.